December 6, 2011. We're here at On the Spot. To my right, political analyst of On the Spot, Stephen Thompson. Far right, Saquon Jones. Our first subject is Occupy Wall Street comes to Brooklyn.
Hey, they occupied Pennsylvania Avenue, 1,500 strong, walked down Pennsylvania Avenue in protest to foreclosures in the community, or as we say so affectionately, in the hood.
Steve, I don't know why you keep this thing going. I mean, the only thing sort of more useless than this is the West Indian Day Parade.
Oh, my goodness.
According to our finest, our New York City police officers, this is the only thing that I don't understand. I actually, when we bring this subject up,
you still don't understand what is going on.
So you saying there's no purpose for Occupy Wall Street?
There's no purpose for occupying Wall Street in Brooklyn. Like, what are they doing here? I mean, I understand, from where I understand, they stopped some foreclosures from happening.
So last week it was, I don't understand their message. So this week they go to do something specific, which has to do with the bank's consistent issue of foreclosing on people, working people,
speeding up the process.
They are prolonging the system,
the pain
from fleshing itself out.
From fleshing itself.
Oprah Winfrey once said, right? Somebody asked Oprah Winfrey, and I think I brought this up at another show, is if you have a ton of money,
right?
You know, why don't you give away some of your money to some other people who needed help or need to be able to pay their bills? And she said that I don't do that because they don't learn the lesson. And this is what's going to happen continuously. Throughout history, there are three ways that we get out of economic uncertainty.
Okay.
One is imperialism.
Right.
One is by doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other is, I'm having a Rick Perry.
Well, it's all right. He's having a Rick Perry.
And the other, I got it already. I got
came back.
You was coming out.
We're back on train.
The other way is to enforce government regulations.
Right.
Imperialism is, obviously, you go in, create war, take over a whole bunch of stuff. Now you open up a new market.
But
second thing is you in government through regulations. You try to do what we're doing now. And the third thing is to do nothing. I think that we should just do nothing, because you know why we should do nothing is that when you do nothing, the cream always rises to the top.
Well, he had his point. So let's talk about the history, and some go back to the issue of.
And wait, let me just say that we're stopping the cream from rising to the top.
Well, here's the issue. There's a lot of cream that was added to the coffee when they removed the Glass-Steagall Act. Now, the little history is for our audiences. It had to be a regulating function to make sure that people who got mortgages were able to pay them back. When you remove that, the banks took a responsibility to look at the type of paperwork and give a loan. Now, what they've proved that those banks didn't do that.
Of course.
So what about the people, Steve? Listen, what about the people?
But you know what? Here's the issue. Here's what we got. Government sometimes does a very powerful thing. It is implemented in making sure that milk is not bad. And the government serves that purpose. So when the regulation was taken away, some people, now, and I'm going to tell you, I used to be a banker. I know. I've stopped a lot of people from getting mortgages that didn't want or should not have them, because at the time I was a banker, the Glass-Steagall Act was in force. But when they took it away, banks had an incentive to do things that they shouldn't have done.
Unscrupulous.
Listen, I'm a true-blooded Democrat. Right? There's no way I'm gonna vote
with a red hat.
No, I'm a social liberal.
Right.
But a fiscal moderate, which means that I'm for everything from gay marriage to a woman's right to choose.
Okay, the libertarian.
So then now I'm also a fiscal moderate, means that I don't want our government to be spending a whole bunch of money without.
This is true.
But
the people have to be responsible,
right,
for their actions.
But
you have a child.
But it was the banks who made these decisions when they had the ability
and the people,
to say,
the banks didn't say
but when you have a woman who's, let's say, nothing wrong with being a domestic, but when you come into the bank and you say, I want to buy this $500,000 home, you may want to do that. But the bank will say no.
But you're not supposed to be able to do it.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, that's
banks, but
you're blaming the bank for allowing somebody who's free will to do
controls. They were under an incentivized idea to generate mortgages because they're gonna get the fees.
That's what capitalism is.
Yeah, but you got at some point the government has we know that we want.
All right, so let's get back to it.
Right.
How does this stop anything from happening in Occupy Wall Street? How does Occupy Wall Street stop this?
One, you brought light to these matters. Two, you've changed the whole election, the presidential election topic on what needs to be spoken on.
Today, President Obama mentioned the idea of inequity. Where does that come from? That comes from in the present day Occupy Wall Street that now people are saying...
Explain inequity.
Okay, well, he's pointing out that classically the United States shouldn't be a place where we have so much divide between the rich and the poor. That's what he's saying. I'm just saying what he's saying. So the key here is they have put what we said last show. Can you imagine somebody coming up with a movement in 2-3 months and having the president of the United States, this is the most powerful man, unarguable.
Yeah, it's called the Tea Party.
Well, he wasn't. The
Tea Party took longer to deal with than
Norm is a good Tea.
They have like. They have 8 representatives in Congress, in the House. They have like 4 senators. Like, are you serious? Within 2 years.
But are we saying that Occupy Wall Street had that kind of money to fund it?
Of course, going through all this.
You keep saying that.
It's not in the best interest of media to show that these individuals are being funded.
Yeah, but
they are being funded, Steve. They are being funded, Norm.
By whom? What do you call funded as opposed to the Tea Party?
It's all right. I'll give you a funding example. The Koch brothers.
Right.
One entity funded Tea Parties, right? Now that's the Republican side of it.
Right.
That's the Republican side of it. The Occupy Wall Street would be like the Obama side of it. A kabillion people giving $2-3 to a movement, as opposed to 1 to 10 entities giving a kabillion dollars to a movement. But it still, at the end of the day, equals the same amount.
One of the key issues that comes out, you say in Brooklyn. If in fact these individuals in Brooklyn feel the relevance to Occupy Wall Street because they're suffering, and it's a residential working class neighborhood, and they're having problems with these. So separate from what I'm saying is,
Steve, I know it's after the fact, but they weren't occupying Wall Street when they were signing off.
But here's an issue.
On the loan documentation, were they?
Exactly.
They were loving Wall Street then. They were loving the legislation then. But now they're about to be kicked out of the house.
As a banker, what you actually told him again, and we'll say it again.
Right.
It was illegal.
It was illegal.
What they were doing was illegal.
They're underwriting.
You allowed paperwork to be forged.
Was absurd. And that's a big word to say. They just let anybody come through. That means that the banks were in error. They were in error.
I feel like I feel somehow that y'all making this like
so the banks
almost a racial thing.
It's not. This is not racial.
They have people in Texas and Las Vegas in predominantly white neighborhoods. If you go to Las Vegas on the scheme of things, and Florida. These people have homes. There is an amazing tract that they're all foreclosed. Majority white folk. So what are you saying? This is a national issue.
We're not talking racial, but what am I asking you a question? The banks had no fault, and this is what you're telling me?
I'm not saying that they don't have a
fault. But I'm asking you. Did the banks have a very
just like Steve is a banker, I work in numbers, right?
Yes.
So I like to define things in sort of, in 100% increments.
Fair.
Banks, 25%, individuals, 75%.
Oh, come.
So how did they get the loan? Because they couldn't
have... The 75% of the fact is the fact that you had an individual who has papers in front of him, just like all of us right now.
But the bank
decided if we go back to the bank, I'm a housekeeper, and I come in with a $500,000 home, and I'm only making maybe $40,000.
Oh, so the bank knows that, right?
Yeah, but why would the bank go
too, right?
Yeah, but if I can come in, I could say anything.
Because I'm
like a $20 million home.
That homeowner, I'll give you this right here.
Right.
And in 2 years, you'll be able to go in and gave you adjustable arm. Right. And in 2 years, they told you will now be able to get a new mortgage at a lower rate.
There you go.
But they didn't tell you is even if you paid your bill, because what they did tell you was all you got to do is pay your bill on time. And your interest, your whole payments on time. And you will have no problem getting another
loan. And on that level.
And guess what? 2 years came up. And when it was over with, guess what happened? That adjustable arm that they lied to you about?
They did not lie. They didn't anticipate that there would be
we got to close it out. But clearly there's an issue, and you say it was not. But people keep coming back to it. But we got to close out.
Let's close this out. We're going to be right back after a brief message. We're back. We're going to open up this segment with Saquon Jones here. His good friend, Herman Cain.
You know, he dropped out of the race, and I'm more disappointed in the fact. I'm proud and I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that now, as a African American, I don't like making everything about race. As an African American male, we have this sort of ideology in corporate America and throughout society that we're basically horn dogs, and you have a man who basically, you know, supported the stereotype.
A brother from another mother.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm also proud of the fact that it gives a tremendous contrast to what Obama has done with his personal life, and the fact that, you know, if there was an issue outside of Reverend Wright, that it would have come up, and the man has, you know, made me feel proud. The fact that, you know, none of this stuff he had to worry about.
Right.
And he was able to go through a whole election cycle with Hillary being as vicious as she could have been, with the Republicans being as vicious as they could have been, and his personal life has never been in question.
Fox News, as vicious as they ever
Fox
been.
News,
they couldn't find anything.
It could not, and I just appreciate the fact that I'm saddened that, you know, I have to go through life and the exception not be the rule. And now Herman Cain has made us as African American males the rule again.
Well, I think that you have to really look at that and be careful, because we have to be real honest, because we got to play by the same. It is necessarily not an even playing field, but
it's not.
The idea that you have basically documented, whether it be you know, Weiner, these white males who have, you know, listen, Edwards was basically could have been in the role of running for president and had a baby on the way, right? So you got to be careful with that stereotype. But yes, we know. I'm not going to deny the stereotype that has been
women in power and women in money and women and men with power and money.
But here's an issue that we have to look at as African American men, or just men running for office. You have to look at character and look at the idea that Cain, he was aware of these things. And at some point, you have to look at your family, and this is the issue that really came down the pike, that you made a decision, him, meaning Cain, to run for office. And you cannot cry that the world is really tough. You got, you know, listen.
It's different because Newt's the front runner now.
Yeah.
And his issues are not coming the same way.
It's about to.
But yeah, we're going to get into that. But I think the issue with Cain was that here you are at a mouthpiece, and to what Norm says about, you know, the Koch brothers, and that connection is there. But you really thought that this was going to be, you know, smooth sailing.
And I got to give him one of the Pointer Sisters songs.
Oh, what was
one
it?
of the Pointer Sisters
I put it on my Facebook.
Right.
What is she?
I know you got a chick on the side.
I know you got a chick on the side.
I know you got a chick on the side.
Followed by the hip hops. For the hip hop generation, Biz Markie said what? What did he say?
I don't.
You don't even know?
What he
said. Biz Markie's known for saying,
she's
just a friend.
Well, Herman, come on, let's stop it.
It was a joke.
He's blamed everybody. He's out of here. It's over.
Are y'all gonna give me my due? Because we can go back.
You said it was. We're gonna give you. We're gonna go back to the footage.
All right, we're gonna go back.
But
to the footage.
that was when the girls was making allegations of sexual harassment.
But it became a conga line.
This young lady said,
"Y'all ever been at a movie with a party with a conga line?"
Well,
it was all showing up.
It was getting ready to get worse.
Oh, I heard it maybe get rough.
She said we had a 13-year relationship.
13 years. That's a long time.
Herman, it took him about a week to get home.
That's tough.
He said he had to have a
conversation with his wife. Right?
No, so he said like some sort of meeting and stuff.
Yeah.
like it was a meeting, like this was business.
Well, they said it's like an appointment. Kind of tough to tell your wife that you got a friend.
For 13 years, she's been paying her bills.
You know, because paying her bills. That's what. Yeah. I'm a music head, so I go back to Babyface.
I'm hoping
now,
that
you know that Babyface song where I pay your rent, and what was he saying? I pay your rent and
listen. I don't know this song, but I think that y'all.
Well, our audience would know it. He's trying to go old school on us.
I don't pay rent, baby. Y'all. All I'm saying,
pay her rent. That's what. Hey, that was a smooth. Listen, baby, I pay your rent. When I get home.
Well, Herman has a problem. He's out of here.
He's out of there.
Moving on to the GOP landscape.
The landscape. We're bringing up Newt again.
Yeah.
Newt. Now I gotta give Norm. Norm said, "Watch Newt. He's on the come up."
Now Newt makes me a little nervous. He makes me nervous.
Is that wait? As a Democrat, he makes you nervous, or as a Republican?
As a Democrat, he makes me nervous again because you put him on a stage or a desk with Obama by himself,
right?
And he comes across very well.
Yes, he's a history
very
professor.
Smart man,
right?
Politically smart, and that
skeletons in the closet.
Him across from Obama
is more of an equal footing. Is that
not even an equal footing? But he's going to come across as presidential. And people are going to look, we always reflect back on these instances, right?
Okay.
If you put him on a stage with Obama, he's going to look and speak well.
He's going to say, he's going to say the urban kids need a job as a janitor.
And then, but then he's going to, see, you're going to have independents, right, who are going to be looking for a reason not to vote for a black man again.
But I don't agree
with
that.
I don't agree.
I think that they show really not deal. I mean, Newt does not.
He's not going to get elected.
He's
not going to get elected.
Right. I hope,
but he's going to.
So what about the
better
nomination?
Than John McCain did.
But wait, the nomination, the GOP. You think he's going to beat out Romney? Are we putting him on the spot?
I mean,
they don't like him.
They don't like him. He may be. But
here's your problem.
He's with Donald Trump. He's being very arrogant.
Well, Mitt said he's not coming to see Donald Trump.
That's the newest news.
So Donald might not.
So let's set it up.
Yeah, Donald might not.
Donald is having a GOP debate. He's moderating.
On
People are saying that it is turned into basically a circus. Or
it was a circus from the beginning.
Well, the idea that Donald Trump is going to be a moderator
of a political
event. He dissed two candidates, Huntsman
and Ron Paul.
He said, they're a joke anyway. And he has a nerve to say that. These men are running for, an office.
Yes.
And let's face it, at least they
Well, Mitt Romney, the runner-up to the front runner.
Okay.
Yeah, the runner-up to...
They just don't like him. I don't know.
But Mitt's not coming either. But now, getting back to Mitt.
Right.
Getting back to Newt.
You completely forgot about the money that he stole.
But see, this is why they don't mind him.
Nancy Pelosi said that she investigated him on the ethics committee, and she's going to, expose a lot of this stuff.
Of course, it's going to come out
when it comes
huge.
Out. But I'm just saying that the fact that if he gets past, he's gotten past the fact that his campaign, the staff quit.
Huntsman,
he got past the fact that...
Are you listening?
What?
Huntsman's going to rise.
Uh-oh. Here's another prediction.
Huntsman's going to rise in the polls.
Norm, you're putting that on camera.
Huntsman's going to rise in the polls.
I hope so.
I don't even know what Huntsman looks like.
Thank you.
Norm,
and guess what?
You also got to say Norm's a Jet fan, too, so...
Yes, at this time, before, where was... John McCain in the race.
This is true. He came out from behind from that history.
And because Newt has so much baggage that you have to say he can't last like this.
Right.
He can't. His baggage, as you said, everybody's going to come out.
Because the sunshine is on him now.
His record speaks for itself. You have a history. You keep trying to act like you're a political insider. You was the speaker. You have a voting record.
Yes.
You
shut down the government.
You shut down the government.
Right.
And you sat side by side with Nancy Pelosi doing
climate change.
Climate change.
He changed that. He changed on us. He's shifting.
No, the video's there. You're right there on the front page of the website.
I am not
all of these dudes.
We all are politically savvy. We all see how these things. They had in the paper, right? That this is a country who elected a peanut farmer, and an actor who acted in 2 movies with chimpanzees.
This is true.
Yes,
we have some.
So we have a very short memory for.
This is true.
Really, I don't want to call a peanut farmer, ridiculous. I mean, I don't want to call an actor who,
was acting as a president. Acting like a president.
But at the end of the day, I mean, throughout history, it has been shown that we have a very short memory.
Well, but here's the difference. We're in the information era.
Well, and that's the change. So you know what, we're going to have to really, this is good, this is hot. We're going to have to come back to this. We'll see your prediction. Norm, you've been right about
Huntsman.
So let's see about, I don't know, Huntsman sounds like the, what is it, the White Sox haven't won the World Series in a few years?
Okay, well, you watch out for this here, but I'm going to tell you,
Did I get that right? Was it White Sox? Who was that?
Chicago Cubs.
Chicago Cubs, yeah.
Other Chicago team, same thing.
Okay.
Nothing. But I tell you something.
I'm going to get emails from the, no, please don't.
And closing out here, Newt can't last.
Okay.
And he might because they hate Mitt Romney that bad.
Mm-hmm.
They hate Mitt Romney.
But you see, you put him across the table from Obama, and he's going to look good.
Yes.
And then that is going to start swaying.
Them bag of bones in his closet, when they keep coming out,
they're killing
and the Democrats keep looping and learning from Fox News, just keep playing. How many times you going to have your girls at the hospital with another girl here? Your wife, we get ready to close out this subject, but let's close it out. The producer said we have to close.
All right.
We'll be back. And we're back. Steve, we're going to open up with you.
Hey.
The European debt crisis.
We're going to take a global look for our audience to give them, because they're seeing a lot of things on television. They're saying, well, is this the apocalypse or whatever? But this is about the European financial crisis. And basically we have a situation, and we're going to get into it, but we'll talk about what is the significance of the two countries, Germany and France, proposing a treaty. And this has to do with German Chancellor Angela Merkel and President Sarkozy of France coming up with some type of an arrangement to deal with this European Euro crisis. So
how many people is a part of the European team?
17 countries, and the issue is that
there's 22.
Well,
they need 17
to vote.
It's 22
now.
And out of the 22, how many people? Please explain it for our audience. How many countries deal with the euro?
Well, they all in that group are using one common currency, and that's called the euro.
Okay.
And in that, the issue is that, like the United States has a deficit, so each one of those countries have a deficit. But the question is whether one or two countries have to bail out the ones that are in a deficit. That's what's on the table. And the problem is it affects the United States as well as the global situation, is that if that happens over there, what does that do to our financial system?
Well, there's two things that I like to, sort of point out. I'm a history buff, and the fact that France and Germany have been mortal enemies.
Right.
Since the beginning of time.
Right.
And the fact that money has a way of bringing people together.
Strange bedfellows.
Money, the power of money.
The power of money.
To totally disregard the fact that, you have centuries of bad blood between two countries.
Right.
The second thing is the fact that we are now realizing that when we were going through our recession, our mini depression, Europe wasn't going through it. And like I said in an earlier segment, the system is flushing itself out.
Okay.
And by them implementing all of the changes that they want to do, I think that they are prolonging
the pain.
I understand that there are going to be some tremendous ramifications if they don't do anything.
Right.
But they're not allowing the system just to flush itself out. Everybody, people, go out of work, countries go out.
Do you think the euro should fail? They should let it just basically fall by the wayside. That's
everybody falls.
Everybody falls.
Everybody falls.
You know what? I think that we're going to really start to help everybody understand this and break it down more. But we got to go into something new.
Okay.
And we'll get back to this. We'll keep it going.
Last but not least.
What?
President Obama.
President Obama is on a nationwide barnstorm to talk about. Basically, it's half, I think you pointed out, half campaign, but half real, because he's got to talk about how we're going to restore this particular country's economic fundamentals. People need jobs.
Unemployment went down.
What?
8.6?
Yeah, 8.6. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the problem is we have certain segments, because unfortunately, in certain segments, that's true, but in the African American community, it went up.
Let me ask you a question. Of course, let me ask you, money man. Let me ask the money man question. The numbers man.
Here we go.
Will we ever see 6-point unemployment?
Never. It's not going back. It's the new normal.
Well, it should. We can do it. If
I'm on record. We are not going to see that.
That's why
let me tell you something. I went to a historically black university.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I went to a predominantly white university for grad school.
Okay.
Black schools. The hardest transition that I had when I was going from a black school to a white school is that in the black school we were taught to get jobs.
Okay.
Exactly.
In the white school, they're taught to create jobs,
okay.
or create
the option, entrepreneurial,
right. Entrepreneurship.
What was the grad school you went to?
Pace University.
Right.
Okay.
Right, and
very good school too.
Yeah, they're nationally ranked business school.
Right.
And what I'm saying is, what you're about to do is the fact that you can't go 6% if you don't have African Americans at 12. You understand?
Right.
And we'll never get down to 6 unless African American unemployment is down to at least 10 to 9 to 10.
Right.
So you can't have one without the other.
Well said.
And now you're going to, I don't know if you guys are going to do it, but I'm trying to cut you off at the pass.
Right.
You're going to create a racial thing as if there's somebody who's supposed to, as if African Americans should not be controlling their own economic or employee destiny.
I'm the first one to talk about entrepreneurialism. I am one.
Yeah.
But the issue is, in a larger economic framework, we're looking at the consistent or historical economic effect in our communities where this economic situation is not bringing down that unemployment in African American communities. This is huge. This is a huge issue that not only the social impact, but all kinds of impact. But that's a good point.
I'm gonna ask.
But the new normal may be 7.5, maybe 8. But that's right.
But I'm gonna say something else to the financial genius here.
I'm not, what
the financial man. I'm gonna ask you. So now, are you saying, in the Bill Clinton era and the Bush era, that when blacks was doing, what was their unemployment rate back then?
I mean, it was definitely below
so what
double
changed?
digits.
What changed from then to now? That now all of a sudden it can't happen anymore.
You have the main thing that changed, I believe, is that you have a tremendous amount of African Americans who's just given up.
So
looking.
What about all the jobs that went overseas? Do you attribute that to it? Considering
you have to be able
in the Bush administration, let me just say what I'm saying. In the Bush administration, we had manufacturing jobs, hundreds of thousands of manufacturing jobs that went overseas.
I have a friend, right? I have a friend.
You're not answering that.
Well, I'm gonna discuss that. Right. Manufacturing jobs, at the end of the day. I mean, and I hate to generalize our culture, but at the end of the day, I mean, a lot of black people don't want to work with their hands. Is there something sort of socially unacceptable for? I'm not going to go fix a car. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go.
I would disagree.
Build a television set.
So are you saying buy American products? See, this is where you come into American products.
That's a problem because
I'm just saying,
a part of my family is from South Carolina, so you have the engine in South Carolina, Greer and Greenville. BMW. So it's kind of tough to buy American when that's a German manufacturer who has a major impact, a major plant in South Carolina.
I'm saying to you, right, so, is that it is culturally and socially unacceptable for your daughter to bring home a man who says, I cut grass for a living.
But that may be...
Or I repair lawnmowers for a living.
But the reality is they won't be able to deal with
But if we don't change that social standard...
We got to change.
Then we're always going to be at the unemployment rate that we're always going to be at.
Okay. So this is a good topic. So you come back with that.
You do agree? What is your figure on the unemployment rate?
In terms of what?
The new normal. What's the new normal?
I think that it'll stay as it been historically, between 4 and 5% during good economic times, and between 9 to 12 in tough economic times.
Going.
I agree. It's going.
It's going.
With that, we're out of here.
And we'll
see you next week.
Right.
Make the producers happy.
On this ride.
We're out.